can hear everybody, see everybody.
Hi,
Rock on.
Nicole.
Hi, guys. How y'all doing today?
Pretty good.
Doing
Hi.
good, Nick.
Good.
Good deal. Thank you guys for being part of this, man. This is super cool right now. I've been wanting to do this for like ever, but haven't really talked to anybody about it except for you guys. But this is really cool, man. It's just totally cool for like paranormal teams to like get together and just talk about whatever we want. And I got a really cool way that I'm going to show you guys whenever we get to that. But let's start by introducing yourselves. Who wants to go first? Show of hands.
Hey, I will.
All right, Janine, go ahead.
Hey, I'm Janine. This is Paul. We're from Cornerstone Supernatural in Vancouver, BC. And Nick and I and Paul did a little thing a few weeks back, and it was awesome. So thanks for this opportunity.
Oh, so just about that. Just the reason why you guys are here. Y'all are the three that actually invited me on y'all's show, on y'all's little podcast, on y'all's podcast and stuff. So that's basically the reason why. Actually, it wasn't the reason why. It was just a very strange coincidence because I'd asked all three of y'all, and then after the fact, I went back. I was like, you know what? Those are actually the people that I was on theirs first. So I thought that was like a really cool coincidence.
Yeah.
But just to go on that, sorry. Continue.
Oh, I'm Hazel Bishop from West Houston Paranormal Society here in Houston, Texas. And I met Nick actually it's been about a year, I think, that I met him. I had no idea that he had his own team or anything. He was one of the best people I've met so far. So I've enjoyed working with him since I've known him.
Oh, that's what's really crazy too. Is like I didn't know there was any other teams in Houston at all. And when I actually met them, what she fails to realize is I think I told you guys, Janine and Paul, that remember there was a bunch of big symposiums that happened down here in Houston. This is her right here. This is the organizer, the
I'm part of
owner
it.
of it. This is her right here.
Well, thank you.
So that was really cool. Like whenever I actually found out who she was, it was like, oh my gosh, this is absolutely super freaking cool. So yeah, she's the one that organizes the Bad Wolf events down here. So
cool.
It's super cool stuff. Super cool.
Right on.
All right. Well, I'm Allison Robinson, and I'm from REP Paranormal. And Kim couldn't make it today. She's sick.
Oh.
Are from Iowa, and we've been doing this for about 7 years now, and we've had Nick on our podcast, so
yeah, they're enjoying some 32-degree weather, what I hear. Oh my gosh.
Freezing.
I can imagine what you guys are over there.
You're talking Fahrenheit, right?
I know. What's the temperature up there in Canada right now?
I don't know, probably about 9 degrees Celsius.
9 degrees
So,
Celsius.
50 something.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good deal. So, well, now that we've all introduced ourselves, let's have a little bit of fun. So I'm going to try to see if this will work. I did it earlier and it worked earlier. So I got this really cool way for us to talk. I know we were trying to figure out how we were going to talk about different things. I found a really cool way to do it. So if you bear with me 1 second, I'm going to see if I can do this. Right there. Okay. I'm trying to share screen, so let me know if it actually works. All right. I'm thinking it does. Is it not showing anything on my screen yet? I'm learning how to do this, so please bear with me. There we go. And it's not. Oh. Okay, it is. Can y'all, how about now? It might be a little bit slow, but can you see?
Can't see you.
We lost you.
Yeah.
Everybody else, but
Nick's gone to the other side. He's gone to the dark zone.
No. Okay, here we go.
Welcome back, Nick.
Hey, here we go. Okay, let's try this again. Man, I'm so that was the wrong button. Man, I'm horrible at this. Don't let me host a TV show. All right, share the screen. So I'm supposed to be there. Maybe it's not there.
You're probably up in your top right-hand corner. We can see all three of us, but we're on a tiny screen in the top right. We can see all three.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Let's try this.
Self.
So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to get the screen share on because I'm trying to show y'all this. and it's usually it pops up my little deal over here on the other side, but it's not doing it for some reason. Does it show that?
No.
No,
Nothing?
not seeing
Okay.
anything.
Same as before.
I'm horrible at this.
And now you froze yourself.
Frozen. Yeah, frozen.
Bye, Nick.
Bye, Nick. Gone to the dark
Ah!
side again.
Okay. Screen. Okay. I don't know. Okay. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go back out here and I'm going to. Okay. I'm back here. I'm back.
He's
I'm
back.
Okay. All right. So I had this really cool spin wheel, right? And it's got all these little sorts of topics. I'm supposed to screen share this, and I did it earlier, and I can't do it now, and I'm sorry. I'm obviously not technical savvy enough for this, but I'm gonna spin the wheel, and you're just gonna have to trust my judgment on what it lands on. But I got
Okay.
like 8 or 9 really cool topics, and then we'll just go from there. Okay, so bear with me. I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right, you can hear me though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, spinning the wheel. And I really wish you could see this. You know what? I'm gonna do a Instagram. That way y'all can see this on the Instagram. And it landed on apparitions. All right, so the topic is apparitions. I'm horrible. I'm so sorry, guys. Apparitions. All right. So let's talk about apparitions. Has anybody ever seen an apparition? Full body, half body, any kind of apparition?
Yes, when I was about 10. I was
About
staying
10
over
years.
I was staying over at a friend's house, and I looked up, typical girlfriend slumber party. We had 2 twin beds or whatever. So I look up, I go, "Who's that guy in the door?" And she says to me, "Oh, that's my dead uncle." And I'm like, "Ooh."
What's the first thing that ran through your head when you first
That
saw
was kind of my first experience with any of this, right? And so I was like, okay, and I at that point you don't know whether she's just kind of crazy. I mean, we were kids, we weren't drinking or anything, but it was kind of interesting to say the least. So she obviously knew what I was talking about because she didn't say I was crazy at that time. She said, "Dead uncle."
Yeah.
Okay.
Was that the only time you ever saw him, or did you see him a bunch of times
No,
as a
that was
kid?
the only time. No, it just yeah, and that's the only time I've seen something really standing there in front of me, per se, except for one time in France when we were at Ile Marguerite, where the man in the iron mask is.
Oh,
Inside the monastery, and I did kind of see some monks.
oh,
Yeah. So yeah, at that time we weren't doing paranormal.
Yeah.
And she just said, let's just keep on walking. And I'm like, look at all this stuff. She said, no, we want to go into the next room. And I'm like, okay. And then she told me afterwards, I'm like, I'm glad you didn't tell me right then and there because, I'd be looking for things that I can't see. Yeah, that was interesting. For me, it was seeing my dad after he passed. And
wow.
For those that know me, growing up, my father was a painter and decorator. So, and he always wore the white overalls and that's the first thing he put on in the morning, the last thing he took off at night, sort of thing. So he had passed, and about 3 years later, my mom had moved from a city to a rural town in Saskatchewan, and so gone up to visit her, and sure enough, he sort of appeared behind my mom and clean overalls, which never happened. And so yeah, it was full there, not saying anything, not anything like that. So for me, that was oh my God moment. And then so that was and I was about 28, 29 at the time, I think, maybe even older. And then another time was when we were in a church doing an investigation, and I seen a partial shadow figure basically going in and out of the front of the church where there had been rumors or apparitions or cold spots being felt. And that was really cool because they had everybody's gone to the dry cleaner and gotten something back, and it's got the the paper over the hanger sort of thing. So I kept on seeing something going back and forth in front of the hanger. So another investigator went in there and actually felt a cold spot, but no one else had seen it. I was up at the pulpit, and so that was kind of cool for me as well.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Hazel, how about you?
The only apparition I've ever seen is of my grandmother, and I was 10 years old at the time, and I lived in a really small efficiency apartment, and I looked over to the rocking chair, and I saw something to start to form there. And, at 10 years old, I'm like, what is that? What am I seeing?
Oh, wow.
And I saw her outline, and to me, it looked, the movie, oh, no, I can't think of the movie now. The Predator movie. When
Okay.
he's in the tree,
Yeah.
and he's
Yes.
like visible, but you could tell he's there. That's how it looked.
Oh, wow.
And but she looked over and smiled at me, and it was very comforting. So it didn't scare me, but I did get the chills, all the hairs were standing up on my arms, and that was the only time I saw a full body apparition.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Very cool. Was there anybody else in the? I'm sorry. Was there anybody else in the room with
No,
you?
this is what it's about. Ask away. That's
No,
what it's
there
about.
wasn't actually, and once it was over with, when she disappeared again, I called immediately. I called my mother because at the time I lived with my father, and he told me, yeah, it was probably her because today it was 1 year anniversary of her death, and I was very close to my grandmother. And I didn't, because I was so young, I didn't get to fly to Chicago with the rest of the family to say goodbye to her. So to me, that was like her way of saying goodbye to me,
Right.
Nice.
And I loved it. It was
That's super awesome.
That was a beautiful experience for me.
No kidding.
That's super awesome.
Huh. Wow.
Allison, what about you?
Well, the first time I saw an actual apparition, it was just a face, basically. We were at Edinburgh Manor in Scottsgrove, Iowa, and we were down this hallway, and my cousin and I had this vision of a woman in a bathtub there, so we were already kind of freaked out about going down that hallway anyways. And we decided to...
That'd freak me out too, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The 13 Ghosts movie. I've seen that movie. Nope. I'm good.
Spooked about going down that hallway anyways, and there's a door across from that tub, and I went to go open it, and it like pulled back shut, and I'm like, what the hell? And the next thing I know, there's a face in that mirror. There's an old woman like in the window looking at us, and we just took off. We're like, bye, see ya. And that's the only one I've actually seen. Otherwise, it's just, shadow figures. But that's the only one I could see that I could actually describe what she looked like. So, yeah.
Well, for me, most of y'all know, like I was affected when I was a kid, and I was physically affected. I didn't really see a lot whenever I was a kid, but I was really physically, I was pulled out of bed and that sort of thing. But I never really saw apparitions as a kid. The only one that I do remember seeing, I was probably a teenager, it was probably the first one, and it was a guy that I later found out my mom also saw, but she never told us about. And it was just, and I remember after we left that house that started everything for me, that one house, after we left that house, we went to another house on the north side of Magnolia. And when we moved into this house, I remember my brother and myself and my sister were sleeping in the living room. And I remember seeing this tall guy with a little top, he had a tall top hat, he had the mustache, and he was just looked like, like one of those guys, you know what I mean? And it terrified me because I saw half of it, because it was like half of it was a shadow guy, but like you could see like the hat and you could see the little bow tie, and trying to tell that, your mom, I'm seeing this. And she's like obviously lying, saying, nah, you're just seeing stuff. And then later I found out that she actually saw the same guy. Was really kind of cool. But then the next coolest apparition I would have to say is I I think I still have pictures of it. I had a video of it, but I actually caught her on camera.
Oh,
And
wow.
I was at this Mary's location that's not very far from here. That I love this location. Hazel, I got to show you this location one day. But I saw there's this little spirit. There was a spirit named Jenny, and me and my sister and I full-fledged watched her walk across in front of us. Like, I'm sitting here holding a camera in front of me, and like my sister's like on camera with a recorder in her hand, and you see her walk in front of the camera, and I saw this with my eyes, and my sister saw this with her eyes. She literally walked right in front of the camera and ducked underneath the camera and walked underneath it, and you could see it was so distinctive. The apparition was so distinctive that you could see it was like gray, but you could tell her hair was blonde. You could tell that it was in a ponytail.
Wow.
It was, and I'm gonna find the pictures and I'm gonna show you guys. I think I still have like screenshots of the video, because like I guess the video we used to have was like old CD Sony Handycam, and I don't have a way to. And I lost it. Unfortunately, I lost the tape, but I have the screenshots of it. I want to show you that. But that was the one that probably my favorite apparition that I've seen physically was little Jenny, because my sister saw it, I saw it, and it was so distinctive that you could see like what notable to me was the color of the hair and the way she had it in, like the way she had her hair up. So it was super cool.
Wow.
If you find that, Nick, you've got to share that with.
Oh,
with
absolutely. And
with
it's
Laura.
3 still shots, and it's her walking, and it shows her ducking under there, and you can see in the picture, you can see the hair. Like you can see it like knotted up. Like it was unbelievable.
Yeah, because
I have to show y'all that.
I know that Laura would be interested in that too, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, if I could find the video, that's the only bad thing. I wish I had the video, because the video was even better, because it shows her and she just ducks right under the camera, like she's like, okay, I'm gonna get out of y'all's way. And Jenny was like a spirit that I'm still connected to. Like I worry about her all the time, because like the house that was there is no longer there. So it's just like, how, like, do spirits like stay on the property? Like, do they go with the house? Like, I don't know. I feel she's still there. My heart and my instinct tells me she's still there. But like, I don't know. Maybe I just need to go back. Maybe it's just her telling me I need to come back and visit or something.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, it could
But
be.
yeah, that was really cool. Next topic. Anybody have anything else on apparitions you want to bring up, talk about?
I mean, I just question is
Yeah.
for y'all is just wondering whether or not is apparitions. I don't think that a lot of people see them. Period. I think that maybe they'll feel them instead of actually seeing them, or in that regards, I'd like is it something that every team experiences, or is it something that they're always looking for? I think that it's
Right.
something that, or is it something that people talk about even though they haven't physically seen something?
Right.
I'm just curious and putting it out there, because I know that some teams actually say, oh yeah, we've caught this on camera, or we've talked about it or anything like that, but they really don't put that up.
Right.
And I think that that's a little misleading at times, and I'm just wondering if you all have come across that.
As misleading, yeah. I mean, because it's like I said, it's their interpretation. It's all their interpretation of what they catch. It's an apparition. It's a whatever coming across the screen. It's a ghost coming. Like, it's just, I guess it's like whatever they interpret it. It is, which is why I prefer to interpret like differently like that. Like, it's hard to say apparition. Like the one video that I have that is apparition that I have, it was caught on an Amazon Ring doorbell, and I don't know if y'all saw that, but it was kind of like a little apparition. Like physically saw something that had no physical body, that didn't look human to me. So to me, I would classify that something like that apparition. But yeah, you're absolutely right. A lot of people can be misleading when it comes to like, apparition caught on tape, or this caught on tape. Everything I have, it's always questionable for me, because I want other people.
The problem with
go ahead,
technology getting better is that technology has got better, right? So it's easier to fake something.
It's easy. They got CGI. There's all kinds of digital enhancements. Absolutely. So it's very hard and can be very misleading.
But I think it also has. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't.
No, go ahead.
I think it also has to do with the person themselves, because after so long of doing this, you become more and more sensitive to
Right.
the spirits and stuff. And there are a lot of times when I would sense things before they happened. Like I would
Yes.
sense a presence and then catch an orb where I thought that presence would be.
Right.
And we would catch an orb right there. Also, like I've been one of those people who explain about bringing antiques
just
into
seen
the
an orb.
home or older items into a home and actually causing the home to become haunted because of that. So in my going to, like, let's say a Goodwill, I was in a Goodwill once with my husband, and I'm walking, I see someone walk past me, and I stop, and I even jump back so I wouldn't hit them. And the worker, she was standing right there, and she's looking at me like, what happened, you know? And I said, you didn't see that lady just walk by?
Yeah.
And I look, and there's nobody there. So I was like, I thought it was a human going by.
Right.
But it happened so fast that it didn't ever like occur to me to think this might be an apparition or whatever.
Right.
But since I was the only one who saw it, I was like, I just need to get out of Goodwill. I don't know, what's going on, but this has happened at other places. Like,
Right.
go into a Hobby Lobby, same thing. I'll put my hand out to keep, my husband from ramming into somebody, and he's like, why did you stop me? There's no one there. And I'm like, oh, never mind. Never mind. So I think because of my sensitivity,
Right. Absolutely agree.
I'm feeling the presence, and so that's what causes me to do those things. But I can't tell you what these people look like. It's like I feel that there's a person going by. I just don't remember what they look like.
I totally relate to that because like y'all know, like I see a ton of light anomalies everywhere. And there are some times where I think I see somebody, like, for example, there's a guy I see, and I would say I wouldn't even call him an apparition. I would call him maybe not even partial, because the only time I ever see him is his black slack pants. That is it. I see a black slack pant. That's all. And he is walking around my work everywhere. And he walks really fast, but all I see are black slack pants. So it's like kind of hard, like, and like you make a good point, like doing it so long, like you become sensitive to all the stuff, and like you definitely start. I mean, you start seeing stuff. I mean, you like you say, you stopping your husband from walking into somebody.
Right.
Like I see that. I see so much more questionable things out of my eye, and like I don't exactly know what they are, but I definitely can relate to what you're saying, because like I see it all the time, like especially like if I go up to like the VA center, like, oh my gosh, it's like light anomaly freaking heaven there. Like they're everywhere. It's like it's crazy, but I can totally relate to what you're saying. Absolutely agree. And totally relate to what you're saying. Anything else? What do you got? Anything else on apparitions, Allison?
No, I just I was curious, just the fact that I think, wondering whether or not if sensitives or mediums or psychics are able to pick that and see more of that than like myself, that just, I'll get the goosebumps and things like that, but I won't generally have that don't go in there sort of attitude, or being able to feel or see a whole bunch of apparitions because of because of the way a person perceives things, right?
Right.
And you both of you just hit the nail on the head in the fact that you both talked about that because you're able to sense that and or feel that, you see more than somebody that's more, for lack of a better word, common.
Right. And as like I said, for like it's really just like not about seeing, it's like feeling, like you said it right there. It's like feeling. It's a feeling, like walking in something, like walking into the room. It's not even seeing it. It's just feeling it and knowing it's there. It's like, it's so, and my coworkers are probably have the hardest time, because I try to explain this stuff because I see, the things at work, and trying to explain it to commons, I guess you call it, but they're not even commons. Like they're not even on the plane of us. Like they're just normal, everyday, civvies. But but yeah, it's definitely it's definitely something, man. Walking into a room and feeling like, well, okay, like it's energy based. That's just like, and it's so crazy because there goes one right there. It's even with people too, because like I can walk up to a person and just based on their energy, I can know if they're going to be a good person or not.
Sure.
It's just that feeling. It's like that feeling,
Yeah.
but in a different sense. And
Yeah.
like you said, just walking around, like having that, I guess that sensibility, you definitely sense a lot more, I would say, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So a common's kind of like a muggle? Is that what we're saying?
A muggle.
I guess.
That's funny. I like that.
Is that another category then? Is that sort of like another category?
I don't even know. I would
between
know.
an apparition and or feeling like being a medium and sensing, and I again, I'm like you, Nick, is I can tell whether a person is good, bad, or indifferent, even from
right
communication, right?
It's that same. I think it's that same intuition. Like I feel it's that same intuition.
And I mean, you hooked up probably with Allison and Hazel in the same
sense
way. It's
all
right
of us,
at the very beginning, the way you were communicating back and forth. You were like, hey, I can talk with this person and trust everything that they're giving.
Exactly.
Right? But is it another category where people are seeing and sensing an apparition, like sensing an apparition and maybe seeing a little bit of it and not seeing the full.
I would say sensing.
Is it another category in the paranormal field?
Right.
Just curious.
Yeah, I got you. That is a good question.
Well, I mean, like for me, it's sensitivity to high EMFs wherever I go, and also, so when I used to go with my group, I had a group of at least 12, and to be in a place with all these people and you're one of the only, I mean, there were, I think, 3 sensitives total on the team. We can walk around and say, oh, I want to investigate this space because this is where I'm feeling stuff at without any, anything in my hand. And everybody's looking at me like, why would you want to go there? The hot spot's supposed to be over there. I was like, yeah, it's supposed to be over there, but I'm feeling stuff here. I want to be here. I want to ask questions to this wall over here.
Oh yeah, I'm the same way. I don't usually go to that. It's like I'll find my hot spots. It's the same way. Like it's you know where your hot spots are. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
How many is on your team, Allison? Just curious.
We have 4. There's 4 of us. There used to be 7, but now we're down to 4. So yeah.
And just curious, in your group, do you have similar people that feel? I mean, I get that from you that medium as and or sensitive in that regards, right?
I don't really classify myself as anything, but I mean, I do get I do get feelings. I do I have been told that I channel, so that's something new.
Wow.
Nice.
So I'm careful with that. Yeah, that gets a little scary. But
does it drain you?
Oh, absolutely. I'm dead tired for like a week. Like, don't come at me. Don't do anything. I am not very friendly. And then Gina on our team, she has been kind of feeling and sensing a little bit more. But I think as time goes on, the more we do it, I think the more of us are opening up more. Mm-hmm. And so they're able to sense more as well. Kim, she doesn't really I don't know. She gets headaches in certain areas, but that's about it. Jill, she doesn't really get anything. And one of our other teammates, she always said she never believed or anything, but you'd hear a little tap and she'd be up in your lap.
Do any of you guys meditate at all? Just a random question.
I haven't yet, but I have been working on my bubble and stuff. I have been working with a medium. She's helping me protect myself and ground myself when I go into places a little bit more. So it's been a little while since I've worked with her because I've been busy, but we're working on that so that way I can kind of rope in this stuff instead of just letting
Right.
it go higher when I go somewhere. So
Right.
I used to teach a mediumship class, and I taught it to all of the people on my team first when I, wanted them to become more sensitive. And it was really, really bad for me opening myself up like that and having them opening themselves up and leaving all of their stuff at my home.
oh, yeah.
So it was bad for me.
Mhm.
And since then, when it was over, I promised myself I would not meditate anymore. So I do not do it because I'm already at that point
Right.
where it's hard to even go to a family function without picking up stuff
Mhm.
from
Wow.
everybody that's there.
Mhm.
So I don't want to make it worse,
Mhm. Yeah.
Gotcha.
We
I
have,
meditate quite. Go ahead, Paul. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no. We've got quite a few mediums or psychic medium sensitives within our group. Claire Cognizant's, I can't say it right,
Cognizant.
beside me. But I know that, and one person in our group, Jude, we knew her from another group, and at that group it was, there were some other things happening, and so she compressed all of her skill, right? And then when we started this group, she was one of the first ones that came on board with us, and she's gone from that, person that's being compressed and talent wise to one of our best ones that I can, talk about. And the reason I asked you is whether, you get tired or anything like that is she's even during an investigation, we were at an investigation at a historic location, and she was channeling, and it was halfway through I have to stop, but she was getting a whole bunch of things like bang on in a conversation with the girl that was there, and we would ask the questions and she'd channel and give us the answers. And
That's my cat.
somebody's channeling through your cat. No.
Right.
And so she's also focusing and meditating on, the third eye, and we've also got some of our new interior team that are doing that have those skills and or trying to expand themselves in certain ways. It sort of gets off your topic, Nick. Sorry about that.
No. This is
But
what it's all
I
about, man.
was,
We're just chatting. This is perfect.
I'm just curious whether or not and that was my whole point is mediums and people who are sensitive to things, do they pick up more than just like you said, Hazel, walking into a room and you start to get things, right? And I know that for a fact within our team, it's the same. Don't go, I have a feeling about this particular area, and it's something that has never come up in a conversation, right?
Right. Well, for me, like what tells me, and this, I don't know if this happens with Hazel, but I've had some instances where I've walked into a room and there's been light anomalies. And usually whenever I see them, they're by color. And by color, they're by association. Like they're just presenting this is what I'm interpreted is they're presenting their color to me to let me know, hey, this is me. Now, there's been instances where I've walked into rooms, mainly here when I come home from like investigations or like weeks after investigations, where I'll walk into a room, I'll see one, and it will look like it'll come straight from my chest. And then that's when I know, like when I see it and I just get that feeling like, okay, something's been on. Like I said, I don't know if this happened to you, Hayes, or not, and this has recently happened, probably within the last 2 months. I call it like, I guess, attacks, but they're not really attacks. But these light anomalies come to me and they hit my chest, and it's like instant nausea, instant lightheaded, instant I feel like I'm going to I need to go outside. And it's only happened like within the last, I don't know, couple months or so, but it's happened 3 times. And that's probably the only time that I've ever like walked in, like really known, like, okay, I shouldn't like really mess with it. But it's like, I didn't go find it. It's like they came to find me. I don't know if that's, you said because you don't really meditate that much more, because I guess it makes it stronger, I guess. That's true, Hazel? That's what you said?
Oh, you're asking me.
Yeah,
I think
yeah. Because
meditation helps. I think it helps people actually deal with their sensitivity. It helps you to, guard yourself, protect yourself, open and close yourself. The problem is that with me, it just
Oh, Hazel's frozen there.
all these
Uh-oh.
things.
I
There we
gotcha. Yeah, and
Okay.
yeah, there you are.
It makes it worse for me to meditate. Now, I know, like I said, other people, it's good for protection. It's good to strengthen, the abilities that they have. They learn how to open and close themselves to these things.
Right.
It just does not work for me. And I don't know why that is.
So I'm curious because like I meditate constantly, twice a day, possibly. On my way to work,
Wow.
I meditate. On my way home from work, I meditate. Now, can you meditate too much to where things like what I just explained, like then like I said, it's only up until like this year, like that I started meditating like more frequently.
Right.
And now like I said, it's been 3 times where Light and Omni says, come into me, and like physically it's affected me. Like I felt nauseous, drained, tired, and literally almost collapsed on the floor. And
Right.
Brittany had to take me to the bed and like literally sat there in front of a fan, cold sweating. And then within 10 minutes, I was just fine. And this has happened like a couple of nights. That's why I was curious. Has this ever happened to anybody else or on your team at all?
I don't see like lights like that, like colored lights or anything. I was doing an investigation once in at Haunted Hill House when it first opened many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we were sitting in a circle, and what we were trying to do is draw any energy that was in the house to that circle so we can capture it. And during that time, I was still meditating. So I did close my eyes and ask everybody to help, give their energy to whatever was there so that it would manifest in front of us. And 2 of the people that were on my team at the time saw a blue, I think it was either blue or green light just form and come towards me and into me. They saw it with their own eyes. We didn't catch it on video, but they saw it and it freaked them out because they didn't say anything at the time. They both mentioned it afterwards.
Oh.
And one didn't know that the other one saw it. They were kind of like, do we say anything or what?
Right.
I don't remember feeling anything because of it at the time. But I mean, I'm the type of person that if I'm next to someone who's carrying something with them, I will get a headache. I will get nausea, and I have to move because that drains me so much.
Yeah.
I mean, just being around my family, when I come home, I feel like I've been exercising constantly that day, and I just want to pass out, and it takes about 2 days to recover from it.
Oh, goodness.
So that's why I don't.
Yeah.
So Allison, I give it up to you for channeling and
Right. Yeah, right.
what you do because I can't.
I do find singing bowls really relaxing. They can almost put me to sleep within 3 to 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So that's a good calmer downer.
Oh, sound alchemy. There's some sacred sound alchemy that I listen to that totally zones me. It puts me like basically back on track. Like it's amazing.
Yeah, I'll find Janine. She'll even though especially if it's a really tough day at work or anything like that, she'll come home, she'll put on the headphones, stick it into her laptop, and then I can see her and a glass of wine, but she'll just disappear into a calming, and then she'll come out of it after, and it's like the day didn't happen. It's just like it's also like being with and we talk about that a lot on our team, is that if we're going into investigation and someone's had a really tough day, bad day, maybe it's whether it's from meditating, maybe it's from we've actually had investigators coming to an investigation. It's been a drive for them, and they're starting to feel nauseous, anxious, and everything else. An hour before they get to the location. So I think that's when you're talking about people and being next to them, and you're getting that energy from them. We talk a lot to our team about, if you're not feeling up to it, or you have anything that you're feeling negative about, don't come.
Absolutely.
Just don't come, because it will reflect on the rest of the team members. But I also think that it severely impedes the investigation for the entities, spirits, energies, whatever you want to call it, that they want to talk to us about.
Right.
And I think that it just conditions people just to don't come. Period. Just don't come.
Right. Absolutely.
And they understand it. I mean, we've got a big team both here, and we've just
Huge.
opened up. Well, for Alice and Hazel, we've got 14 investigators in the Lower Mainland of British Columbia, and we make it so that everybody can come out to an investigation, because everybody, you've got jobs, you've got family, you've got commitments, you've got other things. You can't always be out there on a Friday and a Saturday night. And also the place we investigate, like 99% of our locations are not residential. So we've got to be able to commit to their schedule. And we've just opened up the interior British Columbia, and because of the traveling and everything else like that, we've got 15 investigators. So if you look at the team within just British Columbia, we've got 29 people.
Wow.
But it's we do that for, again, the same number of reasons. We have to make sure that everybody, if they're on a paranormal group or team, they have the ability to actually participate and feel like they're part of that.
That's awesome.
And that we can react to an investigation regardless of the time or place, right? But the other thing is that when you're talking about people with medium sensitives, things like that, we've got that on both teams. So you're able to draw from that. Everybody's got their own uniqueness, I guess, lack of a better word, in the team. And I think, Nick, you've seen that as we've introduced the individuals to, at least for the Lower Mainland. We'll get that into, but we ask some straight up questions. What do you want to get out of this? How do you feel about this? What's your skills? And there's different people within the group that have different things. And I think that really makes it, everybody can be committed to an investigation because they can rely on somebody else, that if they feel it's got to go in a different direction, or they sense it's got to go in a different direction, go for it. You're not just, you've got to answer 2 questions, you ask 2 questions, you got 2 questions, and just that's the way it goes. Nah, that's not the way. We like it so that it's more open and affected that way, so you can feel what everybody's got, and again, don't come to it if you're feeling off, because something is telling you not to be there, I think. Absolutely.
It definitely disrupts the energy. It definitely disrupts the energy for sure, because if they're bringing bad, that kind of bad, tired, exhaustion, any kind of angst, anything, it could totally disrupt your investigation. Absolutely.
I seen all your reactions, and trust me, Janine does the same thing. When I said we have 29 investigators here in
I'm telling you, man. It's crazy because I started with 2 others than me, and then from then after that, it was like just me for like 8 years by myself. So 29 is like, what? How do you organize that? Oh my gosh, no, thank you.
Yeah,
I don't think I could do it. No way.
That's my skill.
Yeah, not me.
Okay, that's what I bring to the team.
Awesome. That is your uniqueness.
Yeah, that's my unique. But you just got to make sure that everybody's got an open part with what it goes on, because whether it's seeing things, whether it's feeling about an investigation, or the ability just to have a good communication with whatever's there, it's and also to go in with a good team energy. I think that's pretty. I think that's cool.
Oh, absolutely. So y'all want to pick another topic? I mean, I don't know how much more time you guys got, but we can go one more topic. What do you think? All right, 1 second. Ready for the freeze and freeze. All right, random wheel. Pick something good so we can have a spiel.
Yeah, it's something that Paul doesn't go in a tangent about something else.
Oh, no, this is great. Are you kidding?
Reel 'em in.
Are you kidding?
Sorry about that, guys. I babble.
All right. The topic is forms of protection. Forms of protection.
That's yours.
All right, who wants to start first?
Okay, so I call them the paranormal Miranda rights.
Paranormal Miranda rights. I like it.
Right? Because you don't know if you need them, but you better do them because you might not get another chance to do it, right? Protect yourself at the beginning. And then,
yeah, absolutely.
If you need it, it's there. And if you don't need it, so be it, right?
Yeah, we do an opening and a closing, regardless of where we're at, regardless whether it's had paranormal activity or not.
State our intentions of why we're there. Make it clear that we're going to respect them and honor their space, and also that they respect and honor ours, and then kind of do the reverse on the way back home.
Because we've found really probably some of our best paranormal evidence in locations where there's never been any paranormal or reputed paranormal activity.
Right.
And then we've gone into other places where it's off the charts and come out with nothing. So.
Right.
What do you guys do?
How about you, Allison? Tell us about your bubble. You're practicing on your bubble.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, it's kind of like where I have to go outside. I ground myself before I go in. So I'm barefoot in the grass, whatever. And I just close my eyes and I just imagine my bubble coming around me. And it's usually kind of like a shimmery gold kind of bubble that I have. And then I also imagine my rose. And so I have these roses that come around me with their thorns, and they kind of wrap all the way around as like another kind of protection.
That's cool.
And sometimes they change. And that's something that I'm learning from this medium. And so I ask her, I'm like, okay, well, it's changed from like this color to this color. What does that mean? And so she'll kind of help me. And so sometimes it does change. But if I start to feel, if I'm in an investigation and I start to feel something coming on that's not going to be good, I'll go back outside and kind of reimagine.
Ground.
Yep.
I gotcha.
And then before I leave, I always tell them, thank you for letting me come. Sorry, my cat. Thank you for letting me come into.
It's a nice cat.
And then I tell them that, I'll come back to visit you, but you must stay here. You can't follow me home. So.
Right. Oh, the same. We do the same.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I've said it before. I envision that I am basically like a tattoo on like Saint Michael. You know what I mean? Like I go in with like Saint Michael, like, and I'm not even Catholic, but Saint Michael is like my guy. Like he's the guy he's all over my arm right here. I don't know if you can see my tattoos, but I got Saint Michael's prayer on my arm. I got him slaying a demon on my arm. Like it's just, for me, I envision myself being like a tattoo on him. Like, okay, nobody's messing with this guy. And this is crazy, but like, it's not really crazy, but I used to go into investigations with a more defensive mind like that. Mm-hmm. Over the years, I've learned that it's really not as defensive as I need to put myself out there. But when I do, like you said, you can feel going into different rooms. You can tell when the energy changes. You can tell when something's not right. And obviously I don the armor on, and that's St. Michael's armor, and I put it on, and I'm telling you, that's what I did for like 8 years. When I was by myself, I had to, especially going into like, different residential cases for me at the time, a lot, or any place that, I needed to go or I was going at the time. Just if I felt like something was bad, boom, I always put on my armor. And yeah, absolutely just puts me in that mind frame, along with a Red Bull. Unstoppable. And of course, I'm telling you, Red Bull should sponsor me. I'm telling you. But no, I do clear myself. Go before and after every investigation. I say a prayer before and after every investigation. I pray to Saint Michael. If I need to cleanse myself, like I will. If I definitely don't allow anything to follow me home, even though stuff does.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's anything that follows me home from like I say, from like my work. I like to joke about like that a lot and say I like to bring my work home with me. But sometimes it could just, just being around, where I'm staying at, you know what I mean? Because I stay in an apartment complex. So the energy is very complex, very different, so there's no telling what's around here. But yeah, for me, I definitely close out, I ground out, and I say my prayers, and I absolutely don my armor. Absolutely. How about you, Hazel?
It depends, I think, where I'm going, but usually I just say a prayer before I enter any location. If it's a group investigation, we'll all hold hands and say a prayer of protection beforehand, and after, when we go to leave, and, ask whatever, just to stay where it's at.
Right.
Yeah.
But I also ground myself. I do step out of wherever we're at when I start feeling like there's some type of attachment possible. I will step out, take a few breaths, ground myself again. I do a bubble of protection as well. The cat.
Whiskers.
But I also
That's
always
cool.
carry stuff with me, like my crucifix, the sage, Palo Santo,
Yeah.
anything that I feel that will protect me, that I personally believe, because people on my team, we have all types, and everybody has their own belief.
Right.
And
Sure.
so we all do what we each feel is best for us. I do say the prayer of Saint Michael as well.
Yes.
So.
I'm telling you, I don't know what it is about that, but after saying that, it's just, I'm in like a whole, it's like, you ever seen that movie Over the Top with Sylvester Stallone?
Yeah.
And he puts a switch. It's like that switch where he turns the hat around. Yes, it's just like a
Right.
switch, absolutely. But I also bring, if I'm doing I do a lot of residential, so I like to bring the black, the black tourmaline, some quartz crystals with me. I like to bring amethyst with me, a few other things. What is it? Moonstone, I think that's what it is. I am not for real. I have a person on my team who's really good with stones. Like I said, what you talking about earlier, having a different type of uniqueness to your team. Like I have a person on my team who she's really good with stones. She knows ins and outs of every kind of protection with stones, and it's really good to have like that uniqueness. It's really good to have that uniqueness on your team, especially with stuff like protection, because I don't know if a lot of paranormal teams actually go in protected. I'm pretty sure we do, but I don't know. I don't speak for, I guess, for every of them. Maybe it's something that they need to look into. But it's definitely good to have that uniqueness and the protection of going to cases like that, for sure.
We know that people on our team actually carry, going into investigation, regardless, carry stones, have them in their pockets and things like that, or around their neck, or so on and so forth. But again, I think as a group, like Janine said, we do that, and like you said, hey, hold hands beforehand, and like it's a prayer of sorts for us.
Yeah.
Nick, I just, for you, like, to go in by yourself, I mean, that's wow, I couldn't do it, and I don't think it's something we do within our we don't say that a lot, and I don't think anybody on our team will go in by themselves. We always, even if it's a cemetery, and just doing going in and doing a session in a cemetery, or seeing what's there. I mean, Ronnie and Scott will definitely are cemetery people.
I'm telling you.
and they've also, I don't think anybody else in our team period will ever go in by themselves.
It's like
well, Glenn might, but Glenn is the guy. If anybody on our team's going to get scratched, punched, or touched or anything like that, it's Glenn. Or if you're missing him from doing a session, look for a ladder or something like that, because he's either on the roof or in the basement doing something.
Yeah.
So that's him. But
You know, for me, it's I've always felt like I'm just when I go to a cemetery, if I'm like at a place by myself, like I'm with my people. Like those are my people. Like
Yeah,
I don't
but
know.
like from my point of view, like when I had my team, there were 12 of us, and
Yeah,
one of the main rules is you never go anywhere by yourself.
yeah,
And it could be for any reason. I mean, just have
I've
nothing
heard
to
that
do
a
with the
lot.
paranormal. You could just fall down stairs.
Yep, yep.
If it's a really cruddy location, you could fall through the floor. Anything can happen, and you need to always have that second person to be there to watch you. Like me, if you put me in a location by myself, I will never find my way out. I don't know what it is. I have horrible direction. I cannot find the exit door on my own. And I will run into
Stop it.
that.
that's good.
So I always had to have someone with me just to guide me through the location. Because once it goes dark, I'm done.
And even we've got some members now in our team that have been on other teams, and they've even gone in with two people and sort of weren't apprised of what that situation was, and so they've been, they felt threatened or by, and it happened to be a residential, and to feel threatened and left alone from the rest of their team or their and so they that was one of their key things is when before they came on board is saying, how do you perceive doing things when you go into investigation? Do you do this? Do you do that? And like Hazel said, is that's probably one of our key things is it just doesn't happen. It just no one does it by themselves.
I wouldn't do it. Thinking back now, like, I would probably do it only if it was necessary. But no, Hazel actually makes a really good point. You should never go by yourself, simply because you don't know the dangers of the physical hazards that are around the locations. You may be urban exploring, whether that be into, an old place that, is falling apart that, you don't know. And you're in there by yourself, something falls, you break your leg, you're stuck there. Absolutely. I wouldn't condone it now, going by myself. But if I had to, I would, yeah. But I think I would be smart enough to, like, I hope I would be smart enough, I'll say that, to not put myself into any danger. But absolutely, I agree, more than one person should go investigating, just for that fact right there.
You were shaking your head, yes, Allison, too.
Yeah. We always go in pairs. We don't let anybody go by themselves. If we do decide to do like an isolation in like a certain room or something like that, we do have a camera on that person. So that way, if there's something that happens, we can
Right.
so we don't take our eyes off of them. But yeah, we always say don't go by yourself. So yeah.
And also if you're on a location, and even if you go, you split out, right?
Yeah.
We generally split out with more than just one person, for that simple reason. What if for lack of anything, what if that person's a guest, that you brought along on the investigation, and they go off wandering and damage something accidentally,
Yeah.
at a location, then it comes back to you as
Right. As
Right.
a team.
and hey, everybody talks.
Right.
Exactly.
Don't
Right.
and there's locations we can't get into because of things that have happened.
Oh.
Not with us, but on other
Right,
with other
right.
teams, right?
Similar. I gotcha.
I've gone to
So-
2 locations that were where one of my teammates walked off, and she actually stepped on a board that had a nail sticking up out of it. Yeah.
Sorry,
And
Headshot.
and then we had another location that was abandoned, and there had been squatters in the basement area, and there were needles everywhere.
Wow.
And she didn't look down to notice these things as she was walking around. But when our other her teammate had gone down there to check and said, no, we need to get out of here. We can't even have you in this room, So there's a lot of things, and it has nothing to do with the paranormal. And that's why I'm saying, Nick, I don't know. I would have been so mad if I'd known you back then and I knew you were doing this by yourself.
Oh man, I'm telling you, but it was just so, I don't know, it was just necessary. You know what I mean? Like it was necessary at the time. I don't do it. I'm glad I've evolved and learned so much in the last 10, 15 years, like
Right.
so much. And like, that's just the greatest thing about this is there's so much to learn.
Yeah.
It's so much to learn.
And people like that are just coming in or just wanting to do this,
Right.
think that they can get into any location or go any place by themselves and just do the exploring and the talking to spirits. I've got my K2 and I've got my digital recorder, which is the two things you should start with.
Right.
But I'm going to wander into a place and by myself and see what I get and do that without even thinking of perhaps something is going to attach themselves and follow you
Right.
home. It
Right.
could be a transient spirit that goes through the site on an ongoing basis,
Mm-hmm.
and you just happen to be there. Oh, okay, I'm going to come home with you, right? And they
Right.
don't protect themselves, and then figure out, well, why? How come I'm feeling so bad? Or my mind frame is completely changed from where I was before. So we got to, when you're talking to somebody or because you probably get questions all the time as well as, how can I do this? How can I get into this? Well, there's certain things you got to try to learn first, and protection is absolutely one of them right off the bat.
Absolutely. And it's usually 100% my clients. Always my clients that want to get into the paranormal after we've done an investigation. And that's usually 99% of the time. And I tell them to start off with protecting yourself. Learn to protect yourself, learn to protect your home, but mainly learn to protect yourself. So absolutely 100% agree. Especially with people.
Can I ask a question for all of you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Whether or not when you go, because we do that within our team, is when you go on an investigation, somebody from that location comes with us because they take ownership in what we're doing. So they actually become part of the investigation. So they're part of that, opening and closing that we do at their location. So
Right.
they find out. Do you guys do that as well with the places that residential is kind of hard because yes, somebody's going to be there, but if it's not residential, do you bring along the people that are there, the people that let you into the location?
For me, I've never been to basically any kind of location like that yet, except for the one place that I went to. This was nobody ever investigated. That's the reason why I went to this place, and it was the Trilogy Brew. That's not too far from where I stay. It's up in Old Town Spring, and there's like a lot of history to the place that I did some research. It's like 130 years old. But no, I would prefer not to have them there, only because I don't want any kind of tampering with my evidence. I know what my team's capable of. I know what my team does. My team and we know each other's moves. So everything can be explained. If I have somebody like with there, I feel maybe, well, and that's, like I said, it's only been the one time. It's only been the one time with the Trilogy Brew, and they didn't really want to be on camera anyways, but I didn't want them there. Just like I said, I didn't want them, oh, that's this, oh, I feel this, or I didn't want them being biased, or changing the investigation in any way. But I would prefer to be by myself. I don't know about everybody else, but I don't have the experience of investigating like haunted locations as probably like you guys do. But that's my take.
I've been on several, and I think it just depends. Like, I'll get a feel for the person, and that's how I'll know, okay,
Yeah.
they're just gonna
You're right.
try to put stuff in my head while I'm doing this, and then I'll just kind of like, bias. Okay, why don't you hang back over there?
Yes. That's what I'm scared of the most, is like that they're putting thoughts in your head.
Right. Well, we did Waverly Hills, and everybody knows the story about Waverly Hills, and we were so excited, but they had someone there who was monitors the cameras 24 hours just to make sure that nothing bad is going to happen, and that the team is actually investigating and not goofing off in the place,
right.
And I was fine with that. What I wasn't fine with was having the person tell me stuff like, oh, do you see the shadows? No, I don't. I don't see a shadow figure. Oh no, but you can't see them. No, I can't. Just stay back. Stay away from me.
Exactly.
Let me figure this out on my own. And they were constantly like throwing stuff out there. And I was just like, shh, just shush. You gave me the tour. You told me the hot spots. You told me where, what to be careful of and, stuff like that. I'm fine with that. I'm just not fine with someone constantly telling me, you already gave me the history. That's all I need to know. Somewhere like Missouri State Penitentiary, we did that one. And the people that worked there were amazing. These ladies were awesome. We actually got to investigate. They joined us, but they were having a great time with us because every time we did hear something or we got a response, they'd be like, oh, they'd be just as excited as we were, So they weren't like forcing stuff on us. They were just being excited that we actually got these things. So I think it just depends. It depends on where you go,
Allison?
No, we have not. We haven't had anybody come to ours that have let us in. Usually they're like, okay, here's a tour, bye, I'm out. Like, they don't even want to stick around. Like, they just want to get out of there. Now, when we did the squirrel cage in Council Bluffs, they do have somebody there, but she stays downstairs just to make sure, because it is a museum as well, so nothing gets broken or anything like that. So she just sits there. She doesn't bother you. She doesn't do anything. She just stays in the chair the whole night. Used to be, basically. So I mean, no, none of them.
Yeah,
I don't know if I would have them. Maybe some, because some of them are other paranormal groups that will let us in or whatever, and if they want to stick around for a little bit, that's fine. But usually, no, it's just our team. The rest, the people that let us in, just say, here you go, I'm out.
Yeah, that's with us. It's just what our group does is that even if it's just the owner doesn't want to do it, but some of the staff want to come on, they're generally more in awe of everything to see how things are. They've watched the TV shows and they've got the perception of something's going to come out of the wall and bite them. But in the way we're doing things,
TV shows,
it's this is the way it is. This is how an investigation happens. And I think for us, anyways, in our opinion, is that whatever's there, okay, whatever entity, spirit, energy, whatever you call it, has more in touch with that individual coming in than us. They don't know us from a hole in the ground, but they know us. And we get more reaction that way. And
is it lagging?
That's
the other thing is we come across.
What happened?
Is lagging a little
and
bit.
The other thing is we've got is that if we hear something or see something, that they actually take ownership in that, and they act like us coming to them. Here's what we got, and here's what taking us as at our word, for us, anyways, right?
See, it's kind of lagging a
Did we
little bit.
lose
Is it
you?
lagging?
Did you
Is
lose
it
us?
lagging a little bit for me? He's lagging for me. I don't know if y'all can.
Yeah, I can't hear anything right now.
You're kind of lagging a little bit, Paul. Just a little bit. We kind of heard off and on. I mean, I was hearing a little bit, but it seemed like it froze up a little bit.
It's just that they take ownership in what we're doing.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not us. It's not us coming to them later and saying, we've got this evidence. They actually hear or see or experience exactly what we're doing. And I understand what you're saying, Hazel, in like you just don't go, just go by this side. But usually they're more in awe of everything else that we're doing, at least for us.
Well, it's one thing if you're going to a location that's not expensive because all these trips cost money.
Yeah.
You know, you pay $1,000 to go to like Waverly
Oh, yeah.
Hills. You don't want someone following you around talking to you the whole
Yeah.
time. You
Right.
want to investigate.
Yeah.
You know, and
It's-
so that's what I'm talking about. That's the part that I don't mind getting the tour. I don't mind that they're there, but allow us to enjoy this because when are we going to have the opportunity to do this again?
Right.
You know, we have to travel across country just to get there. And then, you know, we only have so much time. I want to make every moment count. I don't want someone following me around and telling me constantly, you know, this is where this happens. This is, you know, did you see that? Aren't you listening? You know, I'm like, no, shush, shush.
It's like, see, this is what I take it. It's like, I want to hear the story from the spirits if they're willing to tell me.
Thank
I
you.
can hear the stories from them.
Exactly.
Like, if I want to go there and do a guest or a host investigation to where I investigate the host, you can tell me there's a shadow here. You can tell me there's a shadow there. Me preferably, like I said, I don't have a lot of experience in that, but me preferably, I would rather just let the spirits talk to me. I'm pretty good about them finding me. They usually do. So I don't have to worry about me finding them. They'll find me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you know, it's just as far as the storytelling, that's and Sarah, my number 2, she's amazing. She's it's like she says it perfectly. It's like the spirits, if they have a story to tell, like they'll tell you. You know, let them tell the story. It's not up to anybody else to tell the story. You can get, you know, he say, she say, but like let the spirits tell the real story. And that's what makes this so amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome. What else we got? Y'all, how much more time do y'all got? We've been out here about an hour and 10 minutes. How much more time do y'all got?
I have to get going. My kids will keep messaging me.
Okay, well, y'all, let's.
Be picked up from their friend's house.
No. Okay, well, let's go ahead and end this now. We only
Well,
got through. Man, we got through a lot of stuff. I'm sorry, Paul.
We can. Oh, I'm just saying we can continue this again another time. That's all fine.
Okay, absolutely, and that's what this is great about, man. This ParaChat, like this is awesome. Like I truly appreciate every one of you guys and gals. Like I appreciate y'all so much for doing this. Like, and hopefully I want to do this at least once a month with other teams. Maybe we can get other teams involved, like, and we just keep doing this because like this is helpful for a lot of different people. Like a couple other topics that we didn't go over, but maybe we'll save them for next time, like tips, like some tips that we can give away for like other teams before they investigate, you know, things of that nature. But we'll get that later. But I just want to say thank you guys and gals again for being part of this. It truly means a lot for supporting this.
Thanks for putting it together, and
It was nice to meet
you, Allison, and nice to meet you.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm gonna put everybody's platforms down in the comment, everything down in the description. So that way, make sure everybody follows everybody, subs everybody, and then I'm gonna support you guys the same. And we'll just do this another time, man. I really appreciate it. Thank y'all so much.
Yeah.
No worries.
Okay. Thank
you.
you.
Thanks,
Awesome.
Nick.
It was fun.
All right, guys,
Bye,
y'all
guys.
take.